Hello, this is Lorena, and I'm here to start talking about some spiritual shit that I've gone through. In this video, I go over my introduction to the concept of synchronicity and my dark night of the soul that resulted shortly after I learned about it. So, this guy triggered it. There's a lot that I could go into, but I want to stick to just the synchronicity for a bit and how our lives seem to mirror each other in some respects. Like if things were going poorly for him, they were probably going poorly with me, and that was bad, very bad. So what exactly happened? What happened to make this such a life-changing experience besides the synchronicity? What turns this into a dark night of the soul? Well, synchronicity challenged my views on reality. I was not prepared to actually change those views. So I felt very powerless to overcome the barriers the synchronicity put me through. Although I will admit that I wanted more. Yeah, after G wrapped up, I wanted more. That's kind of weird, but synchronicity is not inherently negative. And so I suppose that picked up on that. Now, when I first was introduced to the concept of synchronicity, I was like, this, how is this possible? How is this possible? So when I looked at it, I was like, okay, I could be imagining this. So I went back to previous states to see if any synchronicity happened back then too. And what I found was, yes. The answer was yes. And I was like, oh God. It sent me down a rabbit hole, and I slipped into a dark night of the soul until I was able to reclaim my power by realizing that the synchronicity was actually showing me that I was not powerless. I just felt powerless. And because I felt powerless, that's why the synchronicity was doing what it was doing. So I overcame the dark night of the soul when I realized that. But reclaiming my power and stepping into my power are two entirely different things. Now, you may remember that I love astrology because I absolutely love it. I love it. Well, I do have something else to say, actually. I experienced all of this while Saturn was transiting my first house. And even if you believe you cannot synchronize with a fictional character, which is wrong, by the way, but even if you disagree with me, a completely valid approach and response, just please respect what I've gone through. I actually have some very I actually have changed noticeably. And now, does everyone know that I changed noticeably? Well, most of the people that could tell are now out of my life. So not many people know that I used to be different. But this dark night of the soul changed me and my beliefs on reality. And now it's circling back around to me experiencing more synchronicity. Come on, Saturn, really? No, actually, I think it's Uranus this time. Or both. Anyway, this character is Shion. I can't remember if I introduced him or not. But he is definitely he is a major character. And he's actually compared to Kiba quite a lot. He shares a birthday with Kiba and is referenced and compared to Kiba on TV tropes. Yeah, on TV tropes, there's a lot of comparisons, and Shion is generally considered to be a nicer Kiba, which is right, which is true, very true, very true. He actually has friends as well, so that's a plus. Kiba would have friends, but, well, you know, he's Kiba. He's kind of an ass sometimes, not going to lie. So, how did this Dark Night of the Soul change me? And why was I so resistant for so long? And how did the resistance affect me? Well, because I was resistant to the idea that it was possible, I got my ass kicked. It was basically like this. You are refusing to acknowledge the truth, so until you do that, you can't reclaim your power. You can't overcome these negative belief patterns until you recognize the limitations of of how you view reality. Reality is not defined by these strict definitions that society teaches you. Reality is far different from that. There are actually things that you can experience without those experiences messing with the laws of physics. So I had to learn that, and I'm having to learn that again, but this was mainly a case of dates and tracking dates. And learning about synchronicity and all that was a much different process than what I'm going through right now. Right now, I think what I'm going through is the development of some clairsenses, and I'm not quite in touch with my intuition just yet. Not in the way that a lot of spiritual people are. So I think I'm growing into them, and I'm being shown that through these games that I play and other things. So anyhow, what happened in this series to spark my Dark Night of the Soul? Well, first, I'm probably an empath, and I felt some of what Shion did. If you think that's weird, well, guess what? It was definitely weird. Very, very weird, I know, but it happened. It was a thing. And there's nothing anyone can say to discredit that. So, anyway, what happened? What happened? Back to that. I will tell you what happened. Shion was challenged to a card fight by a guy named Ace, and he lost a card game. He lost it. Now, this guy named Ace was insulting him, his beliefs, and I was offended. Very offended. I didn't understand why, but I apparently felt Shion's emotions there. Because I was also offended, but I was offended like I was taking it personally. But he wasn't talking to me, he was talking to Shion. And that was very complicated. Very, very complicated. I can discuss this in spiritual spaces where it is safe to do so, but not on YouTube, because YouTube is not safe, and I don't want more trolls than I'm already going to get, okay? Anyhow, because of what Shion went through in getting his company back, because for some reason he decided risking his company on the outcome of a card game was a good idea. Well, a lot happened. He got his company back, but things were never the same. Things weren't the same after that. He changed. And I too changed because of what he went through. And I'm sure my changes are different, but you can tell that. Now, if you could track how I was speaking before Vanguard G, you will notice that there are changes between how I spoke back then and how I speak now. There are just no witnesses that can actually say that those differences are there. You just have to take my word for it. Anyhow, I believe I became a better person. I believe I grew a lot. Definitely in the empathy area, but I think the empathy that was developed is from something else. Something that I will not discuss here because, again, I'm not asking for trolls, okay? I'm already going to get plenty. I don't need to give them more fuel. So, yeah. I don't really know why I got so offended back then. But Shion is not the only character I felt empathy. I felt like I felt his emotions. I felt similarly with the Dark Ignis, where I felt some of his anger and some of his emotions. It was very awkward. It was even more awkward when I cried over a character I hated for most of this season. You know, the last season, where one of the characters turned into an ass, and I was like, I hate this character, and I cried, and I was like, why am I crying? I don't. Okay, brain. Okay, emotions. Fine. I'm not going to ask too many questions. Just do your thing, whatever. And it's definitely weird to say that I'm feeling a fictional character's emotions, but you have to remember that I believe in the multiverse theory, and that fictional characters do in fact exist in other universes, and just not in this one. They're fictional here, but they do in fact exist elsewhere, in other universes, where their reality is different from the reality that we experience. But sometimes there's some bleeding through. Like, it's possible to, actually, do I really want to open that can of worms right here, right now? Actually, that's probably not a good idea. I'm gonna wrap up this video because I think I'm starting to ramble, and that's bad. That's bad. I want my videos to have quality, okay? So, this is the video. This was the video. I now experience what is a more positive form of synchronicity. I'm not sure how the negative experiences did turn me away from it, but in fact, they didn't. I wanted more. I'm not sure why. I still can't answer that, but okay. I guess it's just I didn't quite get my fill of it. Okay, fine. I actually wanted another season of G to go with the other seasons of Cardfight Vanguard that were introduced in Cardfight Vanguard V. But instead, I'm going to be satisfied with Vanguard Zero's introduction of the G cast and the lines that they all say. So, while I'm waiting on Vanguard Zero to introduce G era to the English version of the game, I've got nothing else to say. Wait, actually, yes, I do. This character, I believe part of what made it difficult was it challenged my identity in a way. I wasn't comfortable because I was synchronized with a male character. No, I don't know why this would make it so difficult, but it's probably because I have I believed myself to be strictly a woman at that point. And yeah, I know I'm not necessarily a woman in all lives, but I really was uncomfortable with the thought of being a man in any life. So I thought that made this Dark Night of the Soul what it was. I thought that made it much more difficult because I was being challenged to acknowledge that I'm talking about what I'm not supposed to. Oh god. Okay, well, I'll finish. I was uncomfortable with the thought that I could incarnate as a man in other lives, even though that's obvious. Of course I would. And yes, I do believe in reincarnation, and that I was Shion in a past life. Now trolls, don't get carried away. Do not get carried away. Don't. Okay, there are weirder beliefs in this, okay? Look up the flat earth theory and roast those people. Okay, don't roast anyone, but just respect that I've got this belief. Do not troll me for it. Please. I know that Shion is fictional in this universe. I'm not challenging those boundaries of reality here. Anyway, yes, I believe that I was Shion in a past life. And it was difficult to handle that. And I'm actually pretty okay with that. Because I went through a lot of growth and a lot of spiritual growth. So I'm comfortable with the idea of being both genders. I'm also comfortable with the thought that I probably also have a history of having no genders in past lives. And just all sorts of other gender identities. But I'm more focused on the fact that I was experiencing a life where I felt a spiritual connection that was seemingly a past life kind of deal. That's why I think I experienced Shion as if what he was offended by and why he was so angry, why I felt those emotions too. And now, I do not have this same vibe with the Dark Ignis, by the way. I felt something similar with him, but I think that was something else entirely. And I'm not explaining why. I'm done with these forbidden topics. Yeah, I'm done with that. I'm done with all that. And I'm also glad that I've overcome the strict gender binary. I hate the gender binary. I don't think it needs to exist. Gender is important. Gender identity can really help you a lot, but sticking people into these strict gender binary boxes is very toxic and dangerous. And I acknowledge that I may never understand anything outside of the binary, but I also very much know that I'm actually a lot more open to other genders besides me just being female. Like at some point I might even be comfortable with someone talking to me with the wrong pronouns. But I am exclusively female. So in this life I am cisgendered, or however you would pronounce that. I identify as the gender I was assigned at birth. But I definitely do respect people that are outside of that box. And their lives are valid, important, and they offer a lot to this world. So, Earth, get better. Get good, get better, be more healthier than ever. Anyway, that's the end of this video. I think I should stop before I get into more ranting than I need to get into. So, and that wraps it up for this video. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, well, let me know in whatever form you prefer. Thanks for watching. I'm signing out now. And I'm done with the videos I was planning to upload for today.